Chapter 1. Great designers are great communicators. Have you ever had to make changes to your design work you disagreed with? Me too. It's not easy to talk about design, especially with people who aren't designers. The ability to effectively articulate design decisions is critical to the success of a project because the most articulate person usually wins. In fact, I would say that the difference between a good designer and a great designer is in their ability to not only solve problems with design, but to also articulate how their solution solves it in a way that's compelling, fosters agreement, and gets the support needed to move forward. That's what this book is about, getting support for your design decisions. Lots of people are involved in the design process. What was once relegated to a visual aesthetic is now the center of everyone's attention. People from all over the organization see the value of creating a great user experience, and they all want to participate. Marketing, executives, developers, product management, even people in accounting will want to tell you how they think it should work. People are excited about user experience, UX, because they recognize the long-term effect it has on the product, the business, and the bottom line. The good news? You're a very popular person. The Big Meeting. One Sunday in January, I had to catch a late flight to San Francisco for a client meeting the next morning. But this wasn't just any meeting. About a dozen people from different areas of the company were all presenting designs to the CEO of a large retail website. Vice presidents, directors, product owners, and UX designers were all involved in putting together a 3-hour event that would lay the groundwork for an entire season's worth of projects, as long as they could get this one executive's support. After working with several product managers and attending several meetings, I understood the body of work I was presenting and began preparing my slides. The Friday before, I sat in on a 4-hour conference call, during which everyone on the team practiced their presentation to a VP, who provided feedback and suggestions for how to best present their ideas to the CEO. It all centered around one thing: presenting design ideas to a CEO for the purpose of getting his support and buy-in. There were more meetings about the meeting, discussions about what he might say, late nights getting everything just right, and rearranging schedules to make it happen. I personally would spend 16 hours traveling, 2 nights in a hotel, and a full day in a conference room just for this one meeting. Fortunately, the meeting went well. The CEO was very receptive, provided great feedback, and everyone set to implementing the work they had designed. But that's not the important part of this story. What struck me about this whole thing was the amount of effort that was going into just communicating design ideas to one person. The amount of time the other designers spent actually creating the mock-ups was trivial compared to the time and energy that went into finding the best way of communicating them. Communicating about the designs was more important than the designs themselves. You may not be on a large team like this, or you may not be working with a large company for which a meeting with the CEO is such a big deal, but the principle is still the same. The way we talk about design to our stakeholders is critical to the success of our projects. Design is subjective, sort of. When I interview designers for a role on my team, I always ask them, what makes a good design good? The way people answer this question tells me a lot about how they think about design and, in particular, UX. Most of the answers are predictable, but they often tend to sound something like this: a good use of space, simplicity, or one of my favorites, when you can't remove anything else. Now, there's nothing wrong with those answers. They express how a lot of people approach design, but they aren't truly what make a design good in the eyes of a business. It's not the approach I want for designers on my team because they speak to subjectivity, to an aesthetic that not everyone will agree on. I'm not exactly sure where these designers come up with definitions that sound like something straight out of a Jonathan Ive memoir. I don't think they learned it in art school. What concerns me is that I think they picked these catchphrases up from a social media design phenomenon where UX means something that looks as cool as an iPhone. They've adopted it from a popularity contest mentality that believes pretty things are the same as usability. It's the same culture that causes well-intentioned designers to create a redesign mock-up of any popular website or app without any clue as to what the business's needs are. It's less about solving problems and more about likes. The truth is, all design is subjective. What one person likes, another person hates. What seems obvious to me might not be obvious to you. What works in one context could fail miserably in another. This is why design is such a difficult thing to talk about, especially with people who aren't designers. There is little common understanding of what design is or should be. Too many cooks.